today's class, let us going to see the subject name is accounting for cost and management. In that, we are going to see a sum. The sum about the ratio. Here, see the sum problem question about ratio. Here, see the first one is they are giving cash 18,000. Closing stock will be 1,80,000. Creditors 50,000. Tax payable should be 75,000. Then debtors should be 1,42,000. And the bills payable should be 27,000. Then outstanding expenses should be 15,000. This should be the costing. With this help of figures, we are going to find the about current ratio and then as well as liquid ratio. Previously, I have discussed about current ratio. It's nothing but current ratio means it should be easily converted into cash, either by cash. Let me give an example of current. For example, for current assets means it should be cash in hand, cash at bank, bills receivable, and then closing stock like that. So in this, with regards, we are going to do about. So we are going to find about current ratio. Then second one is liquid ratio. The liquid ratio is nothing but should be for paying for short-term obligations like short period of time should be happening, maybe 1 to 3 years like that. So let us take back to the sum here. Current ratio. For this current ratio, the formula for this current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. We know that here the current assets should be the 80,000. 80,000 is nothing but here the 80,000 should be cash. And then 1,42,000 plus 1,42,000 is debtors. That should be current assets. And then third one is 1,80,000. That should be what? Closing stock. So these three things should be considered as current assets. Then divided by 27,000 current liabilities. So 27,000 should be bills payable. Then 50,000 that should be creditors. And then this 50,000 that should be outstanding expenses. And the last one is tax payable. So this should be the current liabilities. So with this help of figures, current assets divided by current liabilities. By this we are 3,40,000 should be current assets. It should be divided by 1,67,000 will be current liabilities. With this figures, we will be getting a 2:4. That should be the ratio of current ratio point for the current ratio. And second one is liquid ratio. For this liquid ratio, the formula is liquid assets divided by liquid liabilities. Here, liquid asset means that should be same as well as current assets only. So 80,000 plus 1,42,000. Here 1,42,000 should be debtors. So that should be divided by 1,67,000. Here 1,67,000 that should be current liabilities. So total amount should be 1,60,000 divided by 1,67,000. The final amount will be 0.96%. I mean that should be ratio of liquid ratio is 0.96. The last one is absolute ratio. Moreover, this absolute ratio is nothing but we have discussed earlier about that absolute ratio. The absolute ratio that should be includes like cash, bank, and marketable securities or temporary investment. That should be the standard absolute ratio is equal to 0:5:1 like that. So here the final state we are getting for absolute ratio is equal to 0:1 is the final answer for this. And this with this help of regards, we know that we have finding the answer for this current ratios and as well as liquid ratios. So this should be the ratio. Here every point, this should be the answer should be ratio point. So for the answer for the current ratio is equal to 2:4, and then second one is liquid ratio is equal to 0:96, and the last one is 0:1. So this should be the midpoint of answer for these questions. So let me thank you. So what is the uses of ratio? Here the ratio should be helps in for making decision making in the company. For we know that levels decision making is the main sources and important in every company. So with this help of decision making, with this help of decision making to improve the quality of company and as well as quantity of company. So here the product, what the product should be coming in and getting back to the company. How we are going to purchase the raw materials from one sources to another sources. So then, at the same time, the second one is with this help of figures, we are going to forecasting and preparing a plan budget like that for the future sources of income like that for more than 3 to 5 years they should be consuming like that. So with these things we have been concluded with this ratios with these problems about the current ratio and the liquid ratio and the